Hi, my name is Al Garrison, and today I want to talk to you about the American Pit Bull Terrier. I've had pit bulls for close to 20 years, and one of the things that I know is that they're incredible dogs. As a matter of fact, the American Pit Bull Terrier is a great family dog that can be gentle, obedient, loyal, and protective. According to the ASPCA, there are 70 to 80 million dogs in the United States, and most dog lovers believe that their dog is the best breed. They believe that they're loving and loyal and kind and obedient, and most people have a favorite breed. I believe the American Pit Bull Terrier embodies all of these things, and that it is one of the best breeds to own if you have a family or not, if you have something to protect. They're great dogs for all kinds of sports. But to kind of get into what we want to talk about, I think the first thing you need to know is a little bit about the history of the breed. And most people believe that, or a lot of people believe, that the American Pit Bull Terrier is the original bulldog, not the brachycephalic English bulldog that we have today with the pushed in face and the wrinkly face and kind of pug tail. A lot of people believe that those dogs are actually bred off of inbred dogs that were from a pit bull strain. The American Pit Bull Terrier was originally used to bait bulls. And what they meant by that was they would help butchers and farmers keep bulls at bay, grab onto their nose and hold on to them until the butcher was ready to, slaughter the bull for meat. Bulldogs were also used as hunting dogs, but it was illegal to hunt on the king's land, and most of the land at the time in Scotland, England, and Ireland belonged to the king. Same was true in Spain, where a lot of our bulldog stock comes from. The bulldog was bred to a smaller size later on so that peasants could keep the dogs to hunt vermin and keep vermin out of corn and homes and things like that. And they also developed a sport called rat baiting, which was similar to bull baiting, where they would put rats in a pit and the dog that killed the most rats won the contest. Later on, those types of sports became illegal and people started fighting dogs. And the American Pit Bull Terrier has been known as an excellent fighting dog. As a matter of fact, when most people think of a pit bull, they think of their fighting reputation, and that's really what gives them a bad name. They think of a dog that's, barrel chested with cropped ears, kind of looks like a demon, and has yellow eyes. And most people really don't know what a pit bull looks like when they see one. I've had people come to me as I'm walking my dog and ask what kind of dog they are. When I inform them that they're a pit bull, then they kind of back away and don't want anything to do with it. But until I told them what breed of dog it was, they really didn't know. But not only did the pit bull excel at fighting, it was also great as a hunting dog, a catch dog. It's fantastic at agility training and is a great weight pull competition dog. Now, most people are loyal to a specific breed of dog because of the characteristics of that breed. Dogtime.com rates dogs on many characteristics, and the APBT, or the American Pit Bull Terrier, rates high in categories including adaptability, that it's easy to train, it's friendly towards strangers, they're affectionate with family, they're kid friendly, they're extremely intelligent and playful. And as a matter of fact, in the early or late 19th century, early 20th century, the pit bull was known as the nanny dog. A lot of farmers and people at home kept pit bulls in the house to keep their children safe, and the dogs played very well with their children. The great thing about the dog was it knew who its owner was and knew who shouldn't be there, and people felt safe leaving their child alone with pit bull. Today, if you tell someone that you're leaving your child with your pit bull, they ask if you're afraid that it's going to tear it apart. And again, that kind of goes back to the bad reputation that they have. The reputation that a pit bull has, a lot of it comes from, guys that think it's going to make them look tough or make them look great. And the reality is, up until, the late 20th century, most people that owned pit bulls were very protective of the breed, and they didn't just sell them to anyone. As a matter of fact, John P. Colby, who's one of the greatest progenitors of the breed, wouldn't sell a dog to anyone unless they proved that they could take very good care of it and wouldn't breed it to another dog without talking to him first. And it didn't matter if they had the money to buy the dog, he wouldn't sell it to them unless they made that promise. The American Pit Bull Terrier, however, is not for the novice dog owner. They have a strong prey drive, which makes them very tenacious. They can be dog aggressive. They need to have someone that spends time with them, and some of them actually drool quite a bit. I have one at home that every time he drinks, he slobbers all over the place. So that's one of the things that you really want to think about before you get a pit bull. There are some famous pit bulls that I want to talk about real fast and kind of give people an idea of what a pit bull is other than what the media tells them. Many breeds have at least a handful of famous dogs. Collies have Lassie, German Shepherds have Rin Tin Tin, and the pit bull has a few of its own. One of the most famous American pit bull terriers was Pete the Pup of the Little Rascals Our Gang fame from the 1920s and 30s. Pal was his real name, and he was constantly around children and other animals. What a lot of people don't know is that Pal and his father, who was the first Pete, were actually both fighting dogs and actually won several competitions. But that's neither here nor there. They are famous dogs. They're around children all the time, and they show how great the breed can be with children. Sergeant Stubby was a pit bull, and he was the most decorated dog of World War I. Sergeant Stubby is said to have captured a German spy by attacking him and holding him until American soldiers took the spy prisoner. It's also said that because Stubby was gassed once, he would be able to smell poisonous gas long before any of the troops did, and he would run through the trenches, waking men up by nudging them, barking, biting at their heels until they got up and put gas masks on. Another interesting fact about Sergeant Stubby that some people may or may not know is his body has been stuffed, and he's in the Smithsonian in one of the World War I exhibits. He was actually one of the most famous soldiers from World War I. He met 3 different presidents, had been in the White House several times. He was in parades, and nowadays, if you put a pit bull in a parade, people might be scared. But Sergeant Stubby was one of those dogs that really set the breed apart, and it was the pit bull strain or the characteristic of being tenacious that really helped that dog to exceed in the war. And another pit bull that's really famous was a dog named Bud that was owned by Dr. Horatio Nelson Jackson, who was the first man and dog to make a trip across the United States from San Francisco to New York City by car. And going back to the Smithsonian, Bud's goggles that he wore during that entire ride are now on display in the Smithsonian. So there have been some extremely famous pit bulls, or I guess they're not as famous now as they once were. Sergeant Stubby was one of those dogs that he was recognized by everyone after World War I, and he kind of gave a lot of people an idea that World War I wasn't as bad as it was because the dog was such a hero when he came back. There were a few soldiers that were jealous of the publicity that the dog got, but in the most part, he was very famous. So, in conclusion, the American Pit Bull Terrier is an excellent companion, a top security and protection dog. They're a perfect family dog, an outstanding athlete, but more importantly, it is the ultimate family dog. At least that's what I believe. The American Pit Bull Terrier has numerous characteristics that allow it to be a great family pet and a loyal companion. Despite the bad publicity that the American Pit Bull Terrier gets for being aggressive, there have been many individuals that have been very famous. They've helped save troops in battle. They've played alongside children in television shows. They've been the first breed to cross the United States by car and have even been in the White House several times. As a matter of fact, there were a couple of presidents that actually owned pit bulls, if my memory serves me well. Anyway, hopefully this helps to change your view of what the pit bull is. I would encourage you to look them up. One thing that I do know is a lot of people can't pick a pit bull out of a lineup of 20 or 30 dogs. A lot of them get them wrong. They look at them being big and bold and, very scary looking, and the truth is, they're really not. Anyway, hope you have a great day. Thank you for your time.